Welcome everybody to the first in the web series of Microgems. So, my name is Gemma Yousaf. I work at Microsoft UK in our Developer Platform Evangelism group. Probably wondering what that is. It's a little bit of Microsoft jargon there for you, but basically I work in the partner team, going out to partners, managing the technical relationship, helping them with their technology roadmap and inspiring them to adopt the latest and greatest of Microsoft technology to enhance their applications. So that got me and my beautiful camera girl Stephanie Cook thinking, let's go on a mission. Let's find those partners out there that are developing innovative, cutting-edge application of Microsoft technology, and let's share their story with the community. So that brings us to media science, and we're about to interview this startup organisation who are currently about to launch their marketing software on our Azure platform. I'd like to introduce you to Richard Edwards, the CEO of Media Science. Welcome, Richard.
Hi.
So please just give me a little bit of background on media science, how you started up.
Sure. So media science exists because we think marketeers need a better way to manage data, and I guess you can trace the story back to about 2008 when media agency Agenda 21 first ran into the problems of big data. And what I mean by big data is just an overwhelming volume of data, often in a bunch of different confusing formats. Very hard for marketeers to get a real full sense of how their campaigns are performing, because they have a bit of data here in social, a bit of data in here in search, maybe some TV data, some weather data, and just really difficult to get that single view and have a sense of how their business is performing. We're a spin-out from Agenda 21, the digital agency. They made a decision middle to end of last year to take the business outside of Agenda 21. They felt that there was value beyond the agency to put it out to the market and start to work directly with advertisers and publishers. Great,
that's a great story for us. A problem that you've identified within the market and seeing what you're doing with it now. So I understand that you've actually got a video that you just added to your website. So
sure.
Let's go over and watch that video.
Hello, we're Media Science, and we think marketeers need a better way to manage data. Our story begins 3 years ago, when media agency Agenda 21 first ran into the problem of so-called big data. They and their clients were simply overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data generated by digital marketing. Data that was never in the same format or location, just one big data bun fight. So they went looking for a system that would gather data and generate insights to enable better decision-making. They found plenty of expensive and complicated reporting suites and dashboards, but nothing that made it easy to get straight to the insight. So they did what any self-respecting entrepreneur would do. They built it themselves. Not literally, for they'd be shiny marketing types, not beardy developers. They hired Phil, and he built it. Over time, the previously warring data factions started to come together and work in harmony, from bun fight to group hug, with insight the result, helping clients see what was really working, and of course, what wasn't. Cue better decision-making. Fast forward to 2011, and plenty of happy agency clients later, they decided to set their baby free. Media Science was born.
Thank you so much, Richard, for your time today. It's been really inspiring, and I hope that the audience have enjoyed it as well. And good luck for your launch on the 1st of September, same day as Microgems launch.
Get in. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much too. So now let me introduce you to Phil, the CTO of Media Science. We've just spoken to Richard about the business side, and we're now moving over to the technical. So let's have a bit of a geek out session. So Phil, just tell me from the technical perspective, how you found the POC, what challenges you might have come across?
Well, when we first decided to use Azure, we've been through a round of looking at the different options available in the market at the time when we were looking. So I was very much coming from a perspective of infrastructure as a service as opposed to platform as a service. So there was a couple of conceptual leaps that I needed to make. So the first ADS was very useful from that perspective, to be able to bounce ideas off the guys at Microsoft, to check the things I'd read and all of those things, to make sure we're heading in the right direction. It was very lucky, in fact, that some of the architecture of the system that we were re-engineering to create media science sort of was in a similar form to the way that Azure works, particularly. So the first ADS was about checking those assumptions, working out how much things would cost us, and where I would put each of the pieces of logic and things like that. The second ADS we had was much more about shaping the ideas about the more granular pieces of usage and where we would store various pieces of data and how we would split them across the different storage types on Azure, because SQL Azure itself poses a few challenges because it is slightly different from SQL Server 2008 R2 that we were using before. And there was a lot of heated discussion about how we would leverage the blobs and the table storage against the database to make best use and most cost-effective use of each of those pieces. When we moved into the POC, as Richard may have said before, we were looking at a couple of key specific challenges, and we had a couple of things we wanted to solve particularly, which was around security, to make sure that the experience that the team had developing on Azure fitted with the way that security ran on Azure itself. But also, one of the key things that we do as media science is about harvesting data. One of our key aspects is everything is a source for us, so data comes from anywhere. A lot of those sources we go out and get, so we pull things from an API or somebody uploads a file and we can decide how to deal with that. With email, people are pushing things towards you, so the email is sent to a server. There needs to be an endpoint against that where you can get access to that data. And one of the main questions was, is this something we build into Azure itself, or should we have another partner and then access that from Azure? So we worked through several different conceptual solutions in the POC to that. If we were going to do it on Azure, how we would do it and how much that would cost and those things. And we were pointed at a solution where we used Azure to access another partner's email solution. So this could have been something like, it could have been Hotmail, or it could have been Hosted Exchange, and then we chose a particular solution against that itself. So then it was just a case of building out against that to make sure all of the things that we discussed and designed actually worked. And by the end, we got everything working, which was great, and we were able to bring the code base back again and to sync everything up and get it into the release we had at the end of that week, I believe. So it was a really good experience to actually see how different modules that somebody developed somewhere else would also be integrated into our process quickly as well.
So overall, you feel that the proof of concept was very successful and it's giving you what you need to push ahead with the launch?
Definitely. Towards the launch, one of the things about the POC is we were told in the ADSs beforehand to make sure we had some very specific use cases that we wanted to work against. That was the best way to get a real boost towards launch from the POC, as opposed to spending the 2 weeks discussing and exploring various ideas, to work up those ideas through the ADSs beforehand. So when we got into the POC, we all knew the specific areas that we were working on. And because we did that, it was a real boost towards the launch.
So thank you so much for spending the time to talk to us today and share some experiences with our community. And I wish you all the best of luck to finish off your coding to get your products launched in time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.